Welcome everyone to another Friday night session. I'm very happy to be here with you guys. How's the evening been? I hope you guys have settled in, have some drinks ready, because I think we have a very interesting question on our mind, and I'm correct if I'm saying should we be buying altcoins right now? And if I'm looking at just my screen, having a look at what the market is showing us, I'm looking at Bitcoin right now. We have seen some rally up in the last couple of hours. We can see it's going up towards that bullish side, but we are seeing a drop now. And might this be the move down? I don't know. Smokey, Smiley, it's nice to have you guys with me. How are you feeling?
How's it?
I'm good. I'm good. How is everyone? Thanks, Tony.
Oh, great, man. Happy to be here. Exciting times.
So yeah, guys, I think let's have a discussion really. Smokey, I think let's before we even dive into kind of the news of things, let's just have a look at where the market is right now, so everyone's just a bit updated. What are we looking at?
No, 100%. Look, as you've mentioned, we've seen a couple of moves on Bitcoin the last week, as Bitcoin's the lead indicator for the crypto market. But we've also seen some downside. We've seen a bit of a consolidation in a way where price is running sideways, but at the same time we're also making a series of lower highs and higher lows, as we can see based on these two lines here. Now, we haven't seen a clear sort of intent or a push towards either side of the market at the current sort of state, and looking at the market structure. Now, looking at the higher time frame perspective, once again referencing what we've been saying the last couple of weeks, is we are still seeing a clear bullish structure on this, and we have not quite seen a break of this structure as we sort of make these series of new higher highs and higher lows. Now, with that said, we can see that there's still a push down on the weekly, and looking at the daily, where we look at sort of the smaller breakdown of the weekly candles, we can see that with that, we're still seeing a bit of indecision at the moment, sort of pointed out by this triangle, where we haven't seen a break above sort of previous lower highs or a break below the previous low, keeping in mind that we want to see price respecting that $40,000 region, but we also want to see a break then above the previous lower high, which is sort of this range here, which we said was the $50,000 to the $52,000 range. So if I map it out just like this, so you want to see a break above. And one thing that I want to point out is, like in the last couple of weeks, what we told you guys is that if we do not see a break above this sort of $50,000 to $52,000 level, we will see a retracement further down. Now, that is in fact happened at this point in time, and we can see that price is trying to fill the price inefficiency in this week. But until we see a break of structure, even though the overall trend is bullish, we will not see a continuation to the upside. Now, the same goes for the downside. Until we've broken below the $40,000 level, we are not going to see a continuation to the upside. We are still bullish. So until we see a clear move in the direction of either way that the market will go, whether it's going to continue the bullish continuation or continue the current bearish momentum, we do not see any clear structure broken to show intent that the market wants to push further down or further up at this present time. Now, Smiley, I'm not sure how you feel on the market. You've been obviously quite active with the trades and that. What are you seeing in the market, and what is your feel about the market from the Bitcoin perspective before we look into the alts?
Yeah, thanks, Tony, and thanks, Smokey. All right, and good evening, everyone. All right. We'll not waste the time. I'll just dive into whatever I want to say. Yeah. I will go straight to the 4 hours time frame, and checking the 4 hours time frame, we'll quietly see that observing everything. The recent long week we had was reacting from a demand zone of about 40,000.
Sorry, Smiley, I think we've lost you there. Are you still there?
It seems he might have dropped. Okay, it's fine. Whilst we're waiting for him, I think let's maybe have a look at some of the news then. So actually drive right into it. So the reason we wanting to discuss should we be buying altcoins right now is we're having a look at what is in the news. And I think one of the big news we can see is Ethereum being the second leading coin. Now, what are some of the big things we need to pay attention to Ethereum right now? Well, besides the new upgrade and the new approval that not only minimizes the gas fees, but we can see a remarkable, as you can see, the burning rate of Ethereum being increased. It's got an absolute major influence on the inflation value and deflationary value over time. And not only with that, we can also see with their whitelisting being removed, we can see that Ethereum Layer 2 Scaling Network Optimism announced on Thursday that it removed the whitelisting and is now open for everyone. We're going to see a lot of new people who's new to the industry wanting to try and get into the DeFi space on their own that doesn't have a backing necessarily of coins or a big team, but still be allowed to jump on the main network and start playing around and see how they can generate some proper economic value. So it's quite interesting to see that. I think we're going to see a lot more coins coming in, but we're also going to see some of these bigger tokens start investing more time into underlying technology, which I don't think, Bitcoin is a big leading indicator of. I think on the Ethereum 2 network, if you look, Polygon and all these other big companies that are just really, really trying to drive some new value, is actually the word that I want to use. So I think looking at that, we're going to see a big change coming up soon. We're going to see altcoins, I believe, finding a big ramp up. I can already see, if you look at something like Polygon, that's had some major news recently, where they've actually now partnered with Reddit's co-founder into another $200 million initiative. And these kind of funding initiatives are all aimed to drive funding revenue for venture capitals that are starting on the Polygon network, on the Solana network. So you can see that there's a lot of venture capitalists and big money going into these smaller venture capital coins in order to get, that underlying protocols, so the bigger picture of blockchain can grow. So even though the markets are down, we can see tremendous investment into the altcoin side, especially from a technology point of view.
That's quite interesting looking at what we've seen in Ethereum lately. We've seen that Ethereum is, starting to gain some popularity in the overall market, being sort of the leader of all the altcoins. We can definitely see that there is some resistance and correlation with Bitcoin, sort of fighting the resistance of the Bitcoin dominance in a sense, which has been quite interesting to see. Look, we've seen sort of this push above this previous lower high here, but we need to obviously see a close, in the higher levels, ideally the $4,500 level, the $4,550 level, which is above here. If we look at our zones that we've mapped out for you guys, so ideally we want to see a break above this range here. But if we see, bullish momentum above 4,000 and then working its way up, that will already show us some sign of strength on it. The fact that Polygon and that have been, in the news and obviously working on, more collective projects, we can clearly see that news has also affected, the positive sentiment for Polygon, which was great to see, where we've started seeing this sort of bullish order flow, where we expect the order flow to sort of break above this previous sort of high or lower high if you compare it to the previous higher high. But in order for us to see a continuation, we would need to see, a clear break above the sort of previous high here of $2.2. Sorry, but it looks like it's gained some momentum. We are experiencing a bit of a pullback. This also, is based on the current movement again that Bitcoin is showing us some bearish push down that pushes the alts down. Whether we like to believe that or not, we can see that there's definitely, an effect on that. But it's great to see, looking at the top 20, these altcoins are, at heavily discounted prices. So it really looks like a great buying opportunity depending on the projects that you are looking at. And, to name, Polygon or Matic, as we all know that, to be one of the favorites in most of the portfolios at the moment. And then looking at some of the other level 2 projects that's on the Ethereum blockchain. And as that develops, we can only see, a positive upside to these projects. But again, like I've said, with the discounted pricing on most of these, also just looking at the top 20 alone, we can see that there's massive opportunity. Uni is, sitting at sub $15, Litecoin sitting at sub 150, Dot, which is a big project, that we are seeing under $25 at the moment, which is really a steal to buy, looking at the potential of the project. But again, looking from a market structure and a technical analysis point of view, we need to see, push and a break above the previous highs to start seeing a sign of strength, to start seeing a bullish momentum. But, looking at it from a longer term perspective, what is it to wait, a couple of months or a year for these projects to explode? Because we've seen it in the past in the crypto market. It can happen fairly easy. If we look at last year, December, we look at projects like Audio, we look at projects like Sushi, they had insane gains, over a very short period of time. So that's what we want to see in the market, is to see these breaks above these, previous highs in order to see a bullish continuation. But at the moment, we are seeing some discounted prices still on the cards for lower price pointed. So we just have to wait and see. Once Bitcoin gives us the signal that we can obviously start looking at, but we can already start to scale into the projects to get in and, dollar cost average into these projects to get better pricing for these projects that we are looking at. So yeah, that's it for me from a technical analysis point of view. Stoney, is there anything else from the fundamental side that you are seeing? I mean, we are seeing a lot of buying from the institutions, yet we are not seeing the price moving yet, which means that, from my understanding, from institutional sort of buying level, is that they're purely adding to their position, and that's why we're seeing this form of, accumulation in a way where price is moving up and down over the last couple of days, just obviously accumulating orders before a potential big move to the upside.
So I think the big thing that I'm seeing here is if we just go to CoinMarketCap, for example, the thing that I am noticing is that the amount of coins entering the network is much more. And if you look at something like Ethereum's just announced not having a whitelist, it's also going to allow a lot more tokens legally to come on the network. And whether it's a scam, whether it's an actual backed VC, you're going to find a lot more tokens on the network. So where you started out having 1,000 tokens and suddenly institutions came in order to invest money, it's easy to push 1,000 tokens, because it's not just Bitcoin. It's easy to push 1,000 tokens. But now, not only do you have you're in a bubble where a lot of people don't really have money, but you have 8,000 coins now, whether it's a scam or not, that's literally anchored onto Ethereum and Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin wants to move higher or Ethereum wants to move higher, it's going to have to pull all 8,000 of them with it. And that's kind of the thing that I'm saying to people is, there's a lot of volume. Yes, there's a lot more room for liquidity to come in. But if I look at the rate at which regulation is kind of improving, and at the rate technology is growing, and at the rate you kind of comparing, then hype is just moving into the wrong direction of it. There's no money. I don't see money being available to make such a big ship move right now. I think we're gonna have to see a big crash. We're gonna have to see a bunch of these 8,000 coins be wiped, and then move from there. I think that's a cycle that's proven to work in the past, and I think that cycle is just going to keep on repeating.
Yeah, that's a big statement to say that it's, we've been calling the drop since May, well, since 18th of April this year to be exact, but it's never seemed to happen because of obviously all the media hype and various, other sort of variables that's come into play. Smile, are you back? Can you give us some input on your side? What are you seeing? What are you, getting from the market sentiment? What is your views from your side?
All right. Thanks, Tony and Smokey. All right. First of all, I will talk from the aspect of Bitcoin, because let me say something. Bitcoin at least governs, if not 100% of the move of altcoins, especially if Ethereum should want to do well. I think Ethereum stuff of the thing. All right. Without no much technicalities, I will go straight to what I want to say. Okay, right now, diving into what I want to say, I will go. I think on the 4 hours on the 4 hours of Bitcoin, I think we had with the minor support has been broken. I think two minor support has been broken. Possibly we can call that a demand zone has been broken already. All right, right now, I think we should be preparing, and I can just say should be preparing for some drop. Because right now, what Bitcoin is trying to do is trying to draw our trend line. We can see that we are already in a downtrend already. We are already in a downtrend. And checking the past history of what happened, we can see on the 4 hours time frame, we can see that price is creating a series of lower highs and lower lows. So right now, I think BTC is edging towards the zone of 48,670 and 49,562. I would really want to see a break of that zone before I can say we should return back to our our bullish move. But right now, I think BTC is heading for a mitigation. Yeah, a mitigation of a supply zone to create another lower high. Right now, I won't be surprised if I see BTC at 40,964, because the next move, we need a sponsor, we need a move, we need a zone that will sponsor another move, which Bitcoin is currently doing right now. Bitcoin is going to visit 48,670, yeah, thereabout. Yeah, going to mitigate a supply zone in that area, possibly a resistance, then create another move downward. And back to what Smokey said, I think those key zones levels, I think we really need to break that. Yeah, we really need to break that. Checking the symmetrical triangle, we need a breakout. We need a breakout from this symmetrical triangle, as Smokey has drawn out on on the daily time frame. And we can see, even checking, yeah, thank you for that. Even checking the daily time frame, we can see that the key main demand zones, possibly we call that support zones, have been tested many times. Yeah, has been tested. Yeah, thank you for that. Has been tested many times, which I believe it has become very, very, very weak. Yes, and when price is approaching it, it's going to break that easily. So back to Ethereum, I think before we can see Ethereum doing some wonders, doing some magic, we need BTC to do some work, to also do some magic. We need BTC to break the resistance, to break the first thing I'm going to look out for on the 4 hours time frame is to break out, is to break the trend line resistance. Then if BTC has broken that trend line resistance, then we can now rally to the point of imbalances around 56,252 and 57,757. That is the next supply zone of resistance we are having. So in conclusion, before we can see any alt move, we need Bitcoin to break the trend line resistance and visit the next resistance, or let me say supply zones. Thanks for that, Smokey and Stone.
All right, so Smiley, as we mentioned earlier in the week, we obviously have a 10K account that we started trading. Would you kind of like to discuss that?
All right. Due to Bitcoin fluctuations, stuff like that, we wouldn't want to put that. We wouldn't want to put the account into high risk trades. So we want to be placing probability trade setups. So for now, we are still I'm still checking and still getting the right direction of which BTC is trying to do. Yeah, I don't want to be a liquidity to the market. I want to grab liquidity from the market. So that's the game to stay profitable.
Okay, awesome. So there's no predictions. We're doing nothing right now with the account. We're playing it safe.
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
I think that was great, Smiley. The key thing is, look, there's always opportunities in the market, and we're not going to simply trade every opportunity we see. As traders or speculators, we are looking for the highest probability trades, and therefore, when we put our money on the line, we want to make sure that we take the highest probability trade. We wait for the market to give us a confirmation of its intent before we then place our trades. So same as like we said last week, where we gave you guys an indication of what the market would typically do before we would buy. We would look for essentially for, in a buy scenario, we would look for the market to first show us a break above previous highs, and then obviously wait for the market to retrace before we put a low risk buy in place for continuation to the upside as part of the expected order flow model that we're following. And same with a bearish scenario, where we want to see price break down, pull back into a low risk sell scenario, and then from there we would typically look for sell opportunities for a sell to continue down, so that we can accumulate some USDT to add to our positions, add to our Bitcoin, add to our Ethereum, and add to the various projects that we've got. So I think that's a brilliant take to obviously, keep it safe and wait for the market to come to us, and not force a trade and expect the market to react once we just simply enter blindly into the market. Wait for those setups, wait for clarity, and wait for the market to show its cards, to show you what it wants to do before you take a trade or before you invest in the market for a long period of time. Thanks so much, guys. That was awesome. I think it's going to be an interesting week. Let's see what Sunday brings. Hopefully we'll have some more clarity in the market. If you like our content, if you like what we've got to offer, and it helps you get clarity on your bias for the market, whether you should be buying or selling, please like and subscribe our channel, and watch out for our future videos. We will also start updating the live 10K account that we've got, $10,000, not 10,000 rands or 10,000 dirhams, $10,000 that we've got up, that we are busy getting ready to trade and to build, to show you guys how we can build a $10,000 account and grow it sustainably. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, guys. Please enjoy the weekend. And guys, like he said, please like, share, and subscribe. We're in the gift of giving season. So the best gift you can give someone right now is a link to this channel. I highly guarantee that you want to share this kind of content with them, don't you? Don't you? Yeah. So guys, please, I'm keen to see you guys this Sunday. We're going to have a chat a bit more. We're going to go over the report, have a discussion on some of the coins, and obviously see what Bitcoin and Ethereum has done over the weekend. So with that being said,